Hi, I'm Joe Mindak from Park Bench Westfield, and I'm here with...
I'm Rory Chadwick from Midtown Authentic here in Westfield, New Jersey.
Rory and I have been friends for 10 years now.
Longer than that. I think it's been about 15.
Maybe, yeah. So we started in business together, actually, in Hoboken, and I started H-Mag, a local magazine, and Rory was just starting Midtown Authentic, and we struck a deal for him to be one of the first advertisers, and here we are so many years later, now owning businesses in Westfield. So here to talk about your journey and about Midtown Authentic and a little bit about Westfield. So tell me how you started Midtown Authentic.
Midtown Authentic was an idea that I had in New York City about 15 years ago. So let me backtrack 6 months from that point. I was living in Lower Manhattan on Hanover Square, which is downtown financial district. And one day I was on Craigslist looking just randomly for things. And I came across a post. Some guy in Queens, New York had every Rolling Stone magazine from 1965 to the present. And they were free. And I knew there was some money involved. So I called the guy immediately, rented a zip car, went out to Queens, 5th floor walk up, and took all these magazines out. It took me 3-4 hours to get them all out. Everything was in mint condition. It was absolutely free. His uncle had passed away. They're short selling the apartment. When I got back to my apartment, I checked eBay. Sure enough, these things were worth a lot of money. So I started selling them, and I was selling them $50, $80, $150. There was one with Jerry Garcia on the cover that sold for $300. So I had all these packages to ship out, and I would take these packages down to our doorman. And the doorman said to me, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I got all this stuff for nothing. I'm selling it on eBay. I'm making quite a bit of money." And he says, "Hey, I got something. You want to sell it on eBay?"
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, I've never done that before. How does that work?" He says, "Well, I'll give you half. I get half." So he gave me 2 Louis Vuitton purses, and overnight they sold for $8,000.
Wow.
And I made $4,000. And I knew what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. I said, "You know what? I want to open up a store." And I said, "You know what? Hoboken would be a great place for it." I was living in Manhattan, moved to Hoboken, opened up this small little shop in the back in the middle of nowhere.
I was there.
And you were there like my first week. And ever since then, it's just been growing and growing and growing. Yeah. And now here I am in Westfield 15 years later. We have a store in Wyckoff. We have one in Red Bank. We have a mobile store. We're now looking at Essex County, and we're looking at Staten Island right now as well. So it's really morphed into something wonderful.
Yeah, I was wondering how you got into this business because, you know, I mean, obviously I'm fashionable, you're fashion, you know, but I don't know anything about Louis Vuitton and Gucci and all besides the names, but to know, and you know it, like I've been in a store where you're like, this is Louis Vuitton from this year, and it was made here.
15 years of doing this. Yeah. It just comes naturally. You know what to look for when people bring things in. You know what's real, you know what's not real, you know all the markings and the stitching or the color of a bag, the weight of the bag, the feel of the bag. It's one thing you see it online, but when it's actually in person with 15 years of authentication experience that I have, it's really easy to tell the difference between what's real and what's not real.
And now it's not just consignment, right?
No, we don't do any consignment anymore. We used to do consignment because I didn't have to lay out any money, but I found it to be easier and more profitable by buying it with my own money and then owning it and then reselling it. Because without no consignment, I don't have to find things. I don't have to go through racks of clothes or bags and get someone's stuff and return it. I don't have to make phone calls to customers and say your stuff's sold. I don't have to worry about people call me 5 times a day. Hey, did this sell? And there are people that will call you 10 times a day asking if their item's sold, and it's redundant. And they do it for 30 days straight. I threw up my hands.
So you could just bring in anything you have laying around the house, an old Gucci purse, a wallet, anything, come in the store, and if it's something that
we can use, we'll buy it from you and make you an offer, and then we pay people on the spot. So they come in, for instance, this bag here, I bought it yesterday, we paid $900 for it. We paid about $5,000 for that Birkin bag. We paid about $1,500 for the Chanel bag. We paid several hundreds of dollars for all these Louis Vuitton and Chanel wallets, and then we resell it.
That's great. So instead of things just sitting around in your house, you might as well get some money for it.
Absolutely.
You buy all these stuff. So your tagline is, we buy ex-boyfriend.
We buy ex-boyfriend gifts, and we even got it up there on the wall. Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. I see the van running around with it, and it's a great line. But yeah, I mean,
sure is. I thought of that in Hoboken a couple of years ago, and again, it's about marketing. And you see, you remember Louise and Jerry's?
Sure, yeah.
They always have those A-frame signs with something really funny wrote on that board. And there would be so many times I'd read that sign and laugh, and then go in.
Yeah.
And I said, I got to figure out a slogan. And it just popped in my head, hey, we buy ex-boyfriend gifts.
That's fantastic.
And it worked.
So now you came out from Hoboken. We're both in Hoboken, and obviously you followed me out here when I moved here. But besides that, what was the other reason you chose Westfield as a place to open shop?
I looked at Red Bank initially. Sure. I looked at Montclair and Westfield, and everybody kept saying Westfield.
Yeah.
And I'd been here for about 3 months looking at spaces, and I saw a bunch of things that just didn't seem right. And I basically put Westfield on the back burner and said, you know what, I don't think I'm going to find anything right now. I'm just going to stay here in Hoboken and see how it plays out.
Sure.
And then I got a call from downtown Westfield. Hey, there's a little spot that just opened up. It's not a lot of money. I came right away. I saw it. I offered the guy, I said, I'll take it. I'll give you whatever you want to secure it. Here's my credit. It's fine.
That's great.
Let's do a deal. He said, well, give me a couple of days to think about it. Yeah. Called me 2 days later. He said, it's yours. Here I am.
Yeah, and it's worked out great. Yeah, we came down and we were looking at different towns, and we came down and saw the vibrancy of downtown and everything that was happening. We came down on Tuesday night for the jazz nights, and like, this has a downtown that's pretty happening.
Yeah.
So if even whoever makes fun of me for being in the suburbs now, it's worked out really well. So
it's certainly much different than Hoboken. It's a wonderful place. I live here too. I'm happy to call it my home. Downtown at night, people walking around, people are eating, people are shopping. I'm so happy to be here. I just signed a 5.5-year lease on my business here. I'm very confident in the future of this town, where it's going, and I'm here to stay.
Yeah. And Rory's made quite a splash in town so far with just being on social media, and Rory's done driving around on his Vespa to being Santa and doing all great things in town. And I know both of us were very involved in the Rotary in Hoboken and different organizations like that. We'll be meeting with the president of Rotary in Westfield soon.
It's important to do that as not only a resident and a business owner. I think that if everybody took 5 or 10 minutes out of their day to do something to help their own community, I mean, Westfield will be an amazing place, which it already is.
Yeah, it's great. So, all right, anything else you want to tell us about Midtown Authentic?
The phone number for the store, 908-228-5856. So if anyone's watching this and you want to give us a call, or you can text pictures of items that you would like to have. We give free quotes, so you text us at 551-208-0423. Send us a couple pictures of your item. We'll look at it. We'll give you an approximation of what we'll pay for it, and then you come in and we'll pay it.
And you're at 130 East Broad Street.
130 East Broad Street here in Westfield, New Jersey.
Okay, cool. Thank you for being the first guest on Park Bench Westfield, and we're excited to do more, but I appreciate you coming in and showing us around the shop.
Thank you very much, Joe. Hey, if you got some ex-boyfriend gifts in your closet, bring them down to Midtown Authentic.